Hello, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode. This is episode number 228 for Tuesday, August the 15th, 2023. This would have been my mother's birthday. Would have been her 83rd, but she's no longer with us. But anyways, yeah, moving on. That's not a really great note to start today, is it? So let's go to other things, shall we? Okay, you've seen it before in various pieces. It's the Art East Quilting Company's Cat Scratch Quilt. Done. Completely done. I am glad it's done. I'm really happy that it's done because that was a lot of little pieces to sew together. Will I do another one? Yes, maybe. I have another one of their patterns. Not going to get started on it immediately, which means I may never get started on it. It's called Blowing Up Bunnies. I think it's really funny because it's a bunch of pink bunnies, or whatever color you want to make them, blowing chewing gum bubbles. And I think that's really cute too. So anyways, that one is on the back burner for a while because I definitely need a palette cleaner after this one. I'd like to say I had a lot of fun making it, and to a certain extent I did. However, there's a lot of cutting. That part I didn't like. And of course, you've heard me tell the story about, not having enough fabric in the kit, which may or may not be the fault of Art East Quilt Company. And I explained all of those on a previous episode of the Idiot Quilter and of So Chatty as well. So anyways, here it is, all done. I love it. And here's what the close-up of what the quilting looks like. It's little cat paws and swirls. Lucy, my long arm, cooperated on this one very nicely. And so, yep, I'm very pleased it is done. So on to the next project. I've been working on this for a few days. This is a winter/Christmas table runner when it gets put together. These are most of the pieces. When I took this picture, I was just laying it out on my design board. Then those all get sewn together. I think it's really cute. It's an in the hoop design, which means it's all done on my embroidery machine. It's in the hoop applique. And I love doing in the hoop applique, as you know. I've mentioned that many times before. And I got much further with it yesterday than this. And so here's what right now it looks like, all put together. Without, though, the border yet. I haven't put the border on it. And then I've got to layer it and do a little stitch in the ditch to keep the layers together, and then do the binding. Now, this one already has quilting built into it because under each one of these little pieces, there is a piece of battleizer, which is a form of low loft batting. So do I need to put another big piece that is the same size as the entire table runner once I get the borders on it? You don't, but I probably will, because you can't see the back here. Of course, I didn't take a picture of it, but it is a bloody mess of seams back there. There's a lot of seams back there. So I think I probably will, just to even everything out once I have borders put on here. And then I'll do the binding and it is done. And it is going to probably be a gift down the road. But yeah, I do them because they're fun, but I don't need another table runner. I've got a lot of my own. So that's why I'm going to be gifting it. Yeah, so that's what I have there to show you. What else? Okay, so those are things I'm working on. What else am I working on? Well, I'm hoping also today that I might get started at least cutting the fabric for a Christmas quilt that I'm going to talk about in a moment, that I'm going to work on. And I want to start a second quilt of valor. I played around with one of the new dies that I bought from AccuQuilt that I hadn't used yet that does a maple leaf. And I'm really happy with the way the maple leaf looked. And next week I'll probably show you that on Idiot Quilter. But I did find when I went to the Quilt of Valor site, and I'm talking about the Canadian Quilts of Valor, we spell it V-A-L-O-U-R, not O-R. We spell it the right way, the Canadian way. the British way, whatever. But anyways, I went to the Canadian Quilt of Valor site, and they've got a couple of free patterns. Most of them are pretty lame as far as patterns go. They're very basic, but there is one that uses up scraps, and it does maple leaves all in scraps, and I thought it was really kind of cute. So I might, if I get a chance today or tomorrow, I might try to grab some of my scraps at random and put one of those blocks together to see how it looks in real life. So yeah, projects I do have. Now I also have some gnome tote bags that I'm working on as well, which are also gifts later in the year. I got to get on with those. I've got quite a few of those to make, and they involve not just making the tote, but also making the fabric for it, because I'm making quilted fabric. And what that really means, I'm sure you've already figured that out, is I just basically take great big long piece of fabric and layer it, baste it onto Lucy, and then I just do a edge to edge design across it all until I run out of fabric, and then I cut those pieces up to make the tote bags. And I've got to make more of that as well. I think I need to start a list again of things. And what else? Train went off the track. Let's have some coffee, shall we? Yeah, get those going as well. And I've got a few other projects in the back of my head that I want to get started as well. And most of the stuff that I'm making right now is going to be a gift to somebody or to somebody's as well. So yeah, lots to do. Don't want to think about it too hard. I'll get overwhelmed if I think about it too hard. Just do. Just do. Don't think, just do. Okay, so what's happening? What's next? What's new? Well, Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen coming up Wednesday as usual, this Wednesday, tomorrow, if you're watching this on the day that I put it up. So tomorrow, 9 a.m. to about 4 a.m. 4 a.m. Ooh, I gotta have something else besides coffee. Not 4 a.m., 4 p.m. Eastern Time, of course. All are welcome to join if you're free. You want to get in a couple of hours of sewing or whatever. Stay all day, stay for an hour, up to you. Come and go as you please. And the link for that is in the show notes below. It is a Zoom. And just, I've had a few people ask, they're afraid we're recording it. We are not. We do not record this, and it is not a YouTube live. It is strictly a Zoom. We just get together and have fun. Okay, so what else? Well, I did deliver the Quilt of Valor. Yes, they took it. They took my Quilt of Valor. And you can see the whole process on So Chatty if you haven't already. That went up on this past Friday. But so I'm not going to go into great detail about my day with a very lovely couple, Danielle and Bill Barnes, and their friends Judy and Dana. Bill and Dana are both retired vets. Both have received a Quilt of Valor for their service. Danielle is the, I don't know if you call her president or chairperson or what, of her local branch of Quilts of Valor, and that's the lady I delivered the quilt to. All of them, lovely people. We had a really nice chat about Quilts of Valor and other things, and just thoroughly enjoyed meeting them all. And it was a very positive experience, and I learned a lot about the Quilts of Valor program. It really opened my eyes up in so many ways. It really did. So yeah, so if you want to see what I'm talking about, or hear what I'm talking about, or see and hear what I'm talking about, go to So Chatty from the past week. Link for that in the show notes below, and check it out. Okay, so what else do I have? Sorry about that. Had a little glitch. But I'm back. Yes, so what was I talking about? Yes, what else? I did order a few things this week. And I got a little bit more than I expected on one of these items. Let me just switch over. I bought some stuff from Cleaner Supply. Cleaner Supply is across North America. There's one here in Canada. There's one, maybe more than one in the United States. It is a great place to get sewing supplies at really, really inexpensive prices. I have always been very pleased with the products they carry, and their service and delivery time are all excellent. So I was getting low on webbing for the handles of those gnome tote bags I was telling you about. So I decided I'd order some, and I ordered some in various colors. However, I did want more black than I did of any other color, and they do come in 10-yard rolls, or you can get it in a 100-yard roll. Well, my brain was not really functioning. I just saw the price, and the price was ridiculously inexpensive for that amount of webbing, and it's nylon webbing. 1 inch wide. You can get it in other widths as well, but I got 1 inch wide, and so you can see there's what a 100-yard roll looks like right here. I have enough webbing to last me a lifetime. Okay, but so that was really, I don't know, my brain just wasn't functioning. Wasn't thinking, how much is 100 yards? These are 10-yard rolls, and I actually bought 2 of each of these colors. So 2 in this light tan color, 2 in this darker brown, and 2 in this blue color. This is all webbing. So as I said, I have enough webbing for millions of tote bags. These packages both here are zippers by the yard, or whatever you call it. I forget how much is in each one of these bags. My mind says there's 15 yards of zippers. They do not come with the pulls, so you have to order those separately. But again, a bag of 25 assorted colors, metal ones, that fit these zippers. I think these zippers are called number 5s. Very inexpensive. So basically, this whole order just was slightly over $100. And if you go over $100, you get free shipping. So I got free shipping, but their shipping is pretty much flat rate under that. Think about $12 or something like that. Of course, all my prices are in Canadian dollars. So really, they're very reasonable and fast, very fast. Got them within 3 days or so. And Cleaner Supply is located for us out on the west, in the west, somewhere. Not exactly sure what province they're in. It might be Alberta. I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah. So I've got all of that. So I'm well stocked up when it comes to making bags or anything else. I don't do a lot of bag making. I should do more though, because I do enjoy making them. And I've got several patterns I haven't even looked at yet that come from Bags by Annie, or Annie Bags, whatever they call them. So when we delivered the Quilt of Valor, we popped in. It's in a little town called Campbellford, Ontario. It's where I was born, actually. And they have a quilt store there called Number One Sewing Center. And so I went in, and their prices are very good there. $16.95 a meter for what you see in front of you. And I bought 8 meters, 2 meters of each of these Christmas fabrics. Did I need more Christmas fabric? Well, yeah, you do. You just do. Okay. Do you ever have enough? No. So I purchased all these. Now, the red one on the very end, that isn't necessarily Christmas. It was in the Christmas section, but you could get away using that with something else as well. And I just thought it was kind of a nice pattern. So that's why I picked it up. So I bought all of that. And as I said, good price, about $17 a meter. So that's pretty good in this day and age of high fabric prices. So I got all of that. And what am I going to do with all of this? Well, not with this fabric in particular, but I mentioned earlier that, just let me get out of here. I mentioned earlier that I'm going to be starting on a Christmas quilt. Well, this is the Christmas quilt. This is the pattern. I bought this as a PDF. It's a Chelsea Stratton Designs from Quilting Life. You've heard me talk about her before. I like her patterns. Her patterns are very easy to follow, and the end result's really great. In this particular one, she's featuring a line of fabric that she and her mother have designed. I'm not using that. I am using what you see, well, part of what you see here to the right. It's jelly roll and this charm pack. This pattern does call for a jelly roll. It's jelly roll friendly, and it also uses a charm pack. So both of these are from Maywood Studios, and so I purchased both of these. Plus I've got the background fabric. I don't have a picture of it here, but I do have the background fabric as well, which is the white. Now this is also a sew along on their channel, Quilting Life. I think it's called Quilting Life. And they have 3 videos up right now. I've downloaded those, well, I've saved them to my system, and I watched them yesterday just to see how everything goes together. Very good tutorials, and as I said, this is not a difficult quilt to put together, and so combining that with good clear instructions and some tutorials, video tutorials, this one's a winner. It's easy to follow. So if you go to a Quilting Life YouTube, or you look for Chelsea Stratton Designs, just do a Google search, you'll find her Etsy shop. You can get the pattern there as well. And you can buy other things there too. You can get their line of fabric. I believe they have it on there. I think this fabric's called Favorite Things that they were using. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of their fabric because it's very pastel-y in color. It's just not my color wheel, but that's okay. I'm not doing it in those colors, and you don't have to. That's the beauty of making something your own. Do your own thing, and I will do my own thing. Okay, so it was a busy week last week with lots of purchases and deliveries and things like that. So what are we looking at next? Well, I've done a little video, because it was busy last week, of how I load Lucy. How do you put your quilt together on Lucy? I've done a video. I have the video, it was kind of lengthy. I cut out pieces of it, and I did a lot of fast forwarding through the video as well. It runs about 12 minutes, I think, and I'm going to insert it right here now. If this is not something you're interested in, you can always fast forward to the next segment of today's episode. But a lot of you have asked, how do you get the quilt onto a long arm, and what's this all about when you baste it and things like that? Well, here's the answer to your question. So, I thought I'd show you how I load a quilt onto my Lucy, getting it ready for quilting. And I'm doing this from a very awkward position because I'm doing this with my iPad on an arm, and that's why you have this weird angle. So just to get you in perspective, I'm standing at the front of my machine. And there's the head of it, the needle. We don't need that for a bit, so we're sliding out of the way. And this is the back of the machine, okay? So the first thing I do is I got to figure out the size of the batting I want to use. And by the way that I do this, all right, I've got my quilt laid out here, just across this bar. And what I want to do is get a sense of how much fabric I need, how much backing fabric. So I have these little plastic white ring things. I'm going to put one here, and I'll put one here. And this is just a guide so I know how wide my quilt is, because when I put the backing fabric onto here, which is the first thing I load, I want it to be a good probably 6 inches on either side of this. I like to give myself a generous amount of backing fabric. So we'll take the quilt off for a moment. And this is the backing fabric I've decided to use. This is called Fit for a Queen. No jokes. And I love their fabric. It comes pre-packaged, and it's in 3-meter quantities, and it is wide back. So it's 108 wide. So there's more than enough that I need for this quilt because I've already measured it, and I'm about 54 inches wide. Now, when I get this out, and this is very awkward, I want to put the salvage edge, which is this edge right here, at the on top of the bar that's going to pick it up. So I'm going to take this big piece of fabric and heave it over that bar and spread it out. Two people make this job easier, but I'm only one, so bear with me. I may fast forward some of this stuff so you don't have to sit here and watch me struggle with this very large piece of backing fabric. So I'm putting the backing fabric with the right side down, and I'm just laying it out here so it's draping over all these bars. Now there's a lot more fabric here than what I need for this size quilt, but I'm just trying to sort it out at the moment because I'm going to cut it a little bit. I know I'm off screen right now. All you're seeing is moving fabric. Okay. So I don't want this much fabric. I know that my one marker is under here, the other marker's over here. I want a good 6 inches. I've got about 2 feet this way, so I can cut off some of this fabric right about here and still have enough to go. So that's what I'm going to do. And what I do with this is I'll put a little slice in it and then just rip it. Yeah, now you're probably going, oh, don't rip it. Yeah, it's okay, because this is with the grain. And it's very satisfying to do this. It feels good. Gotta love ripping fabric. Okay, so this will give me a more manageable piece. A few little threads here. I do have a garbage can below that I throw things in. Okay, get that in there, throw this off to the side. And now let's get this smoothed out and lined up again. Okay, so what I have down here, this is my take-up bar. There's a name for it. Don't ask me what it is. I don't remember. But on this I have, and you can't see it, I'm running my hand down here. No, can you see it better? There's a ridge. No, you can't see it. But this is where I'm going to attach my quilt. And I started with the selvage at the top, but I have selvage at the bottom of this piece of fabric. So I'm just lining it up, trying to keep it as I need to attach it. So I have these things called red snappers. And as I said, there's a little piece of plastic bar that's sewn into this leader. That's what I named I want it, leader. And I'm just going to snap it onto this. Now, there are different ways to attach your backing to your long arm. Some people like to pin it to the leader. Some people use zippers. I like the red snappers. Now, the biggest complaint about the red snappers that I have heard from people is that they find them very hard to press on. I don't. Yes, they are stiff, but of course, if you have arthritis or something, you know, wrong with your hands, with your grip, yeah, these would not be maybe the most ideal for you. So you might want to pin. You might want to use the zipper technique. You can find those methods on a YouTube video. There's lots of videos out there about different ways of putting your fabric onto this. Oh, there. Oh, there. All right. Okay, so once that is attached, we want to wind it up. So there's a little bracket here that tightens this up, and I just turn that off, and Why am I being so... Things don't want to cooperate today for some reason. I don't know why. Okay. We are pretty good. All right. Now, next thing is I got to get it over onto this far bar over here. And I've already taken the leader and put it in the position for this. First of all, this fabric has to go under this bar. Now, as I said, there are different ways of securing your backing and your batting and everything to another thread to your long arm. This was the method I was taught. It's called the floating method. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did a moment ago, which is I'm going to attach it using these red snapper bars. And now I drop this whole piece down, and I'm going to wind it, and I have an automatic winder. If I'm spoiled, I know. Now I'm going to pull it taut. And secure that. Now I'm just going to go and smooth out any wrinkles in it. Okay. So there I have my backing on this. Now the next thing is to get the batting on this. And I have a big roll of batting that you can't see on the floor over there that I have to take out of the plastic. And I'm going to have to roll this out. And this is the part I hate the most, because batting sticks to itself. It's doubled over on the roll. So I have to bring it out, make sure I pull enough of it across here so that, you know, my quilt won't, I won't run out of batting when I'm doing this. And I have to cut it too. So I am going to stop the video at this point because you don't need to see me unwrapping the batting and everything, but I'll come back and show you what I'm talking about right now. Okay, so after some cursing and some swearing and some muscle strain, I've got my batting hanging over the rack, and I've pulled out enough, which you can't see, it's pooling here on the floor. And I'm just going to pull this up to here. And I told you this is put on the roll, it's double. So I need to open it up. I have to trim it. And this, I have not found an easy way to do it. The best way to do this, now, okay, some people might take their batting and their backing, spread it out on a floor, measure it all out, and cut it there. And yes, that would probably be in some ways easier, but I'm not about easy. Well, I just don't want to have to do anything where I have to get down on the floor, because I may not get back up again. So I'm just sort of doubling this batting over again onto itself, so that I'll be cutting 2 layers of batting off, which, yes, is going to give me a fairly large scrap. And those of you out there that do not like to waste anything, well, okay, you do you. For me, if it's a large piece of batting that I have left over, then I save it. If it's not that big, or I figure I'm never going to use it, I throw it out. These scissors are specially designed for cutting batting because what they have is a long blade, and they're angled so you can get it straight along, and they have a blunt end so they don't cut in the loft of the batting.
Okay, I've cut off that end piece. And I'll show you how much I cut off. It's not a lot. Will I save it? No. Now you're going to say, oh, but you could use this on a table runner or placemats. You want to know something? I have bags, huge bags full of batting scraps that I never use. So it's in the garbage. Okay. Unfold this now that we have it cut. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to gently pull my batting down onto the backing fabric. The next thing I want to do is put on my quilt top. So here's my quilt top. Make sure I have it the right way up. And I want to center this between the two edges of the batting. And I'm dropping it down. Now some people get upset with this. I'm dropping it down a good 4 or 5, maybe even 6 inches from the top of where the batting top is at the moment. So there. Now this is not straight. I'm coming to that part in a second. But what I want to do now is get this quilt top and this batting underneath this bar that's right here. So I just take this, the 2 layers, just roll them up loosely and tuck them under the bar. I'm just going to pull back my top for just a minute. Smooth out any more wrinkles in this batting. Again, you've got to be careful when you pull the batting. You don't want to stretch it, and it does stretch very easily. And when you stretch it, you will get thin areas. And you don't want that. You want it to all be nice and even. Now, somebody's going to say to me, well, how do you know what the right side and the wrong side of the batting is? I don't know. One side is rougher than the other, and I never can remember whether or not I need to put the rough side down or the rough side up. And you want to know something? I don't care, because it doesn't cause me any problems one way or the other. I know those of you that do this for a living, you make money from doing people's quilts, you're going to say, oh no, it's got to be this way or the other way. Well, okay, that's fine. You're doing it for somebody who's paying you. Then you're going to do everything the right way. I'm not doing this for anybody but myself. This works for me. I'm happy with it. Okay, what I want to do next is pick the thread that I'm going to use for this quilt top. I'm thinking a tan, a light tan, but I'll have to audition the threads. Now, I'm not going to show you that process, and then I'm going to thread my machine. When I come back, I'm going to show you how I line up my quilt so it's going to remain relatively straight as I quilt it. Okay, so now what I'm doing is basically basting my quilt, or at least the first few rows of it. And first of all, I want to baste down the top. Now, what I did off camera was I have threaded my machine, I've picked my colors for my bobbin thread and my top thread, and then I basically sewed a line right down along where you see the top of the quilt at the moment, just on the batting, not on the quilt top itself. And I did this by locking my horizontal channel locks, or is that my vertical? That's my vertical channel locks, so that I could do a straight line of stitching. That's going to be my guideline for lining up the top of this quilt with the batting, which will keep my quilt square as it can be. Now, something I'm going to do that I've never done before, I find that in the next stage, I will bring my needle head over here, and I will stitch about 1/8 of an inch away from the top of the quilt to baste it down. But the quilt will shift a little bit. So I'm constantly having to tug at this to make sure it's on my line. So what I'm going to try today for the first time is I have these hat pins, or these large pearl head pins, and I'm going to pin them about an inch away. I'm going to pin them an inch away through the backing and the batting, just to kind of keep the quilt from moving. And it's very awkward because this quilt is very taut. My machine is threaded. What I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the head of my machine to about 1/8 of an inch to this border, and I'm going to lock the vertical channel locks. I think these are the vertical ones. Yeah, it keeps it from going up and down, but it'll go from side to side. And that means this will be very straight. Okay, so let's just get these out of my way and move the machine over so I can pull up my thread. Oops. There we go. Pull up my bobbin thread. Okay, and here we go. Now I'm going to go very slowly, and I'm going to kind of smooth things out with my hand as I go along. And I'm going to release my channel lock because I want to baste down along the sides. Of course, I'm not basting all the way around the entire quilt, and there's a reason for that. You might think, well, why not do it all now when you've got everything set up for that? Well, the thing is, when you're quilting a quilt, it shrinks. It pulls in towards the center. So if I basted it all down, it might cause some puckering. So I'm just going to baste down, and I'm going to take out my pin. So let's do this edge. And basically, it's the same thing, except I'm going down along the sides now. Hope I didn't break thread. We need to do that. Okay. And let's pull up my bobbin thread. There it is. And let's begin. Okay. So that's that side. And now I'm moving the head over here, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay. So my quilt is now basted, ready for quilting. Well, not quite. What I have to do is I have to set up my computer screen. That's right here. Okay. So I have to load up my pattern, and away I go. And I'm not going to show you that in the video, but yeah, so that's how you load Lucy for quilting. So that takes me to Subscribers Quilt of the Week, and this one comes from one of my subscribers by the name of Audrey Lynn. This week's quilt from a subscriber comes from Audrey Lynn, and Audrey Lynn sends us this beautiful wall hanging for Halloween creation, and she says, I've been watching you for a while and enjoy your YouTube channel. I'm sending you a picture of a quilt I did last year. This was a sweet pea pattern, and it was so much fun finding that perfect fabric for each block. I used mylar for some of the shine areas. I'm not a quilter, so finishing isn't my strength. And of course, I love purple, so there was no surprise I had that color in a lot of the blocks. And I have done something like this before as well. And you are right, Audrey Lynn. This is a lot of fun to do. They do take a long time, but the end result is worth it. And I love the design of this to look like a
haunted house, but each room has something a little different going on in it. And each one of the little blocks seems to tell a story. And you've done a wonderful job of picking your colors for this and finishing the overall look. So this is a wonderful wall hanging, great for Halloween, but you know, I'd want to leave it up all year round because of the amount of time and effort it took you. So thank you, Audrey Lynn, for sharing your beautiful creation with us. And if you would like me to feature one of your beautiful creations, whether it's a quilt, a garment you've made, some other project, please send me one picture and a little blurb about it, 50 words or less. And please, you have to write something about the quilt, because if you don't, I will make it up and it'll probably be wrong. So you don't want me to do that. And just to let you know, I have quilts now right into, I think, the first part of September to show, but that's okay. You can send me something now if you so desire, and as they come in, I put them in the order that they come to me is the order in which they will be presented. So as I said, I have up to about the first or second week in September, but after that, I'm wide open. So please consider it. Okay, so that takes me to YouTube channel of the week. This one is by someone I have reviewed before. She goes by the title Opinionated Quilter. I love watching her videos because she has got a lot of really great advice and tips and tricks. She's a little rough around the edges. What I mean by that is she kind of scares you. You can definitely tell she has an opinion. But you know, I do respect what she says because it's very common sense. It's what she's using with it. So she has one about how to choose fabric for your quilt. And I thought I would review that, let you know it's there, because a lot of people get they don't know what to do. They get lost trying to find the perfect fabric for their quilt. So she's got a tip for that. This week's YouTube video is one called How to Choose Fabric for Your Quilt, and it comes from the Opinionated Quilter. And if you've never checked out the Opinionated Quilter, you really should, because she's got a lot of very interesting tips and tricks, and it's very informative and somewhat entertaining too, for that matter, as well. But in this particular episode, she did a version of how to pick fabrics for making a quilt project. And she kind of simplifies the process, which I know for a lot of people, when they walk into a quilt store, they're overwhelmed by the choices. And basically, they don't know what to pick for a quilt they want to make. She, with her friend on here, take this situation and make it very simple. They break it down and show you step by step how to pick the perfect fabric for that quilt. So if you struggle with choices in color or fabric, you want to check out How to Choose Fabric for Your Quilt by the Opinionated Quilter. So on future projects right now, it's really not a future project because you've already seen it, and that is the Snowman Table Runner, and it's the tripping over my tongue, Snowman Table Runner by Juju Designs, or Designs by Juju, I think is the proper word for it. I do a lot of their designs. Now I'm talking machine embroidery, okay? Well, here's what the pattern looks like and what it's all about. This week's future project is really not a future project because I've already started making it, and on last week's Idiot Quilter, I showed you little bits and pieces of it. This is an in the hoop design. It's called the Snowman Table Runner, and it's by Juju Designs. And I love designs by Juju because they are all very fun to do, very clearly written instructions, and the end result is spectacular. And so here is this particular table runner pattern. You see here, currently it was on sale for half price. Designs by Juju puts a lot of their patterns on sale on a regular basis. So, you know, if you just wait a little while after you've seen something that you like, it'll probably come on sale. But their designs are very easy to do. Yes, they are time consuming, but because I love in the hoop applique, these are a lot of fun. And I think this is a great table runner that can be used at Christmas time, but I think it'll also work, during the winter months as well. So, it's not just a one-off for one special time of the year. I think you can extend that through all the months of the winter. So yeah, I will let you see the end result of this when I get it done. That's Snowman Table Runner, and there's a link to this in the show notes below. So that takes me to the Idiot Quilter Presents, and I don't have anything to present for you. I do not have any interviews this week. I have a couple of feelers out, but I haven't had any bites yet. So if you have suggestions, please let me know. Sometimes you suggest people I've already presented, and that's okay. I usually send you an email and say, yeah, I've already done that person. Or you sometimes forget my criterion. My criterion is they can't be a big name. They should be somebody with a YouTube channel, and preferably somebody who doesn't have a huge subscriber base yet. My reasoning behind that is if they have a huge subscriber base, then everybody knows them already, probably. I'm looking for the people who are just kind of getting started out in this, so I can help promote their channel. So if you've got someone you think that fits that criterion and you've got contact information or at least the name of their YouTube channel, please send them along to me and I'll investigate it further and see whether or not I could interview them. So thank you for those of you that have made a few suggestions. It's been very helpful. Okay, that takes me to the quilt store online this week, and this one is called Quilters 9 Patch. This week's online quilt store is called Quilters 9 Patch, and it's located in Elmira, Ontario, which is a small community in the heart of Mennonite country. I really can't remember whether or not I was to this actual quilt store. I think I may have been a long time ago, but I'm not really sure about that. And if it is the one I'm thinking of, it was a very quaint looking general store kind of a appeal. But nevertheless, we're looking at the online version of their store. And so here on their front page, we can see they have a new kit, new zipper bag kits. They're hiring. Okay. May not be the place I've been to before, because before I think it was a very Mennonite run kind of place. Another kit available, machine quilting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've not been there looking at that picture. So let's go jump right into, well, first of all, how do they have things set up? They have shopping by appointment, which is interesting. So it looks like you can pick between Monday to Friday from 9:30 to 2:30. And then they provide the address where they're located. And so I guess they're not really open. Their store part um, are open for that. They say they have 25 available. That's interesting. Maybe that's a carryover from COVID. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. Let's go to 100% cotton fabric and pre-cuts. So let's see what they have in fabric. So their fabric is all listed by, well, some are by designers, some are by panels, wide backing, neutrals, basic blenders, modern Civil War, pastels, country and traditional, black and white, solids, flannel, seasonal, holiday, all fabric. Let's take a look at all fabric. Okay, they have a few things on sale. And it looks like they put things into quarter meters. There's some pretty holiday fabric. And I have 85 pages of this. And it's looking like, no, those are all on sale. Looks like everything's on sale. Let's go right to their last page and see if that's true. Pretty much. Interesting. Well, let's go to Tulip Pink and see what they're selling that for. $3.99, so $4 a quarter meter. So that's $16 a meter. That's a really good price. Yeah, that is a really good price. And what else do they have? Let's look at their seasonal and holiday. It's all on sale at about $2.44 a quarter meter. That's still a good price, $2.59. 276. So yeah, their prices look very, very good, around, $11 to $16 a meter. You can't really beat that right now. What are they charging for wide backing? $5.99 a quarter meter. So let's say $6. Oh wait, that's 60 inches wide. So 108, which is what I would usually buy, is $6.50 a meter. So that's $26 a meter. Sorry, $6.50 a quarter meter. That's $26. I'm right about that. Am I not? Let's see. So then that's 13. Yeah, $26 a meter for wide back. And they have not a bad selection, 5 pages of it. So price-wise, everything here is looking really good. So what else do they have? Well, let's take a look at their quilt kits. Runner and wall hanging kits, lap size, baby size, kid size, sewing and craft kits, all kits. Let's click on all kits to get an idea of this. Zipper bags, table runners, wall hanging, kid size quilt, lap. Yeah, it looks like they have only smaller quilts in kits. A lot of lap. I've got a lot of runner kits as well. Price wise, so seems very. Oh, there's a bed size quilt. $228 for the kit. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad. So, what else can we take a look at? Patterns and books. Quilt patterns, table runners, Elizabeth Hartman. Look like they have a fairly good variety of quilt patterns as well. Okay. Do they sell? Okay, notions and thread. Yeah, I'm interested in that. Let's see what they sell for thread. Guterman seems to be it, and Valdani. Oh, they have Orthville, which is my thread of choice. $12.98. That's a small spool though. $16.98. Well, that's not bad because Orthville is anywhere between about that price and up to about $20 for a spool these days. So, yep, reasonable price. Look like they have lots of colors to choose from. They do have King Tut and silk thread, hand quilting thread as well. They do have wool if people are into using wool for applique or for embroidery. Interfacing, English paper piecing. We have patterns and templates for all of that. Okay, so they seem to have quite a bit of choice amongst that as well. So overall, they seem to have a really good selection of things. Oh yes, I was going to check out their notions, probably pretty much the standard. Things are well organized on here too, I've noticed. Yeah, zippers and purse hardware, rulers and cutters, pins, needles, buttons, marking tools, what you'd expect. Okay, what about their shipping though? Their prices are good. What about their shipping? Free shipping for $100 Canadian before taxes. That's pretty good. 150 Canadian for United States for free shipping. Standard shipping is between 2 to 3 days with Canada Post. That's pretty good too. So shipping, flat rate shipping, $20. And it's flat rate shipping, $20 Canadian for the States as well. So really, their prices are really good and their shipping is really good too. And they have a great selection. So this is worth checking out. Quilters 9 patch. See what you can find. So that brings me to the end of this episode of the Idiot Quilter. I hope that you've had a good past week. I hope you have an even better week coming up. I hope you're madly working on things. Christmas is around the corner. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, have a great week, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.